Hi everybody, I'm Amber Amethyst. Today I'll be talking about how I became a fan of anime, starting with my first ever anime, the introduction into anime as a whole, and the progression throughout the years. I'm also going to explain how technology was during these times of my anime experience. I'll go ahead and say that I'm sick again. I get sick a lot. So my voice sounds a little funny, and I'm going to try not to do any coughing. I haven't really been coughing too much yet, but if I do, I apologize. Let's go ahead and start. So, I guess everybody has a gateway anime. Mine was Sailor Moon. Back when I was 6 years old, so it would have been 1994. I was 6 years old. I was homesick one day from school. I was in first grade. I can't remember what channel it was on, but I was watching TV, and the show Sailor Moon came on. I've never heard of it before. Never seen a commercial for it. It just came on after... I think it came on after Bananas and Pajamas, I think it was. I don't know, we're really going back in time here. But I remember watching it, and it was the episode where Sailor Moon meets Sailor Mercury. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a simple story. They were female superheroes, what I saw them as. And I remember watching it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I didn't really know it was anime. I didn't know what anime was at the time. To 6-year-old me, it was pretty much just any other cartoon, just like Batman the Animated Series or Rugrats, two cartoons I watched a lot during that time. I didn't really see too much of a difference. I know that I really liked the art style. I know that I really liked the story, and I really liked the characters. And I was much more engaged with these characters than I were in a lot of other shows, except maybe Power Rangers, which was still my favorite show at the time. But it wasn't really until summer that I got to watch Sailor Moon like every day, because it came on when I was at school. And so during the summer, every afternoon I would watch it, and I watched like all of season 1. And this was the English dub by Deke. Again, I thought it was an absolute amazing show. I thought it was really fun. I just really liked the characters. I thought it was funny. I liked the colors that were used. It was just a great show that I just couldn't really get enough of it. And I had a neighbor who moved in a year later, and she also really liked Sailor Moon. We would play it outside in the summer. We would play Sailor Moon, and we would fight over who got to be the title character of Sailor Moon. But I would also end up being Sailor Mars, because for some reason I really liked her as well. So usually she ended up getting to be Sailor Moon, and I ended up being Sailor Mars. So the years went on. Watched a lot more shows. I really liked the horror, children horror shows like Goosebumps or Fear the Dark, as well as a lot of the Saban shows like Power Rangers and Big Bad Beetleborgs and Mystic Knights of Tyrannog. I watched a lot of those, and of course my sister loved all the Nickelodeon shows, which for the most part I did as well. But still, it wasn't really until 1999 came along that made me realize that Sailor Moon's art style was a completely different type of cartoon. Because here in America in 1999 is when Pokemon took the country by storm. It was everywhere. The games were everywhere. The merchandise, the TV show was a hit. The first movie was coming out. It was just a huge thing. It was my first year in middle school, and I was obsessed with Pokemon. I actually still have this. I got this plushie, Christmas of '99. And this was my favorite toy for like pretty much like year, 2 years. I took this thing with me he's very faded. But his tail split in the back. He came with candy as well. But I absolutely just loved Pokemon. I still have him because I just really loved the character Pikachu. And I remember I was watching Pokemon. I don't know what it was, but I realized it had a lot of similarities to Sailor Moon as far as facial expressions, eye shape, certain movements, and it just reminded me a lot of the style of Sailor Moon, but I didn't know why. It wasn't until I met a friend, Elena. She was very posh. She did modeling, and she really liked anime. She reminded me again about Sailor Moon, and I told her yes, I did like it, and she tried to show me how to draw anime, but I didn't like learning how to draw from her because she would get very frustrated when I couldn't do it properly. But that's a whole other side note. But so I decided, well, I'll go ahead and start rewatching Sailor Moon. So I'd watch Pokemon at 4 o'clock when it came on. Was it Kids WB? I think that's what it was. So I'd watch Pokemon at 4 o'clock when it came on. Was it Kids WB? I think that's what it was. And Sailor Moon, I think, came out at 4:30 on Toonami on Cartoon Network. And so I started watching it again. And then we ended up moving. Ended up moving from one town to another over Christmas break. 1999 to 2000. It was the new millennium. When I came to this new school, it was very different. Because when I was at my old school, I don't want to give away town names, but when I was at my old school, it was like Pokemon was a big thing. When I came to this new school, it was considered very childish. If you liked anime, people thought you were weird. It wasn't until like later in the year when I was in PE class and me and my friend Crystal were started talking about Sailor Moon. Friends Catherine and Shinate were there as well. We were all just talking about this show, and it was just like, wow, I can't believe there are other people who actually like this show as much as I do. And so, unfortunately, I didn't really see Shinate or Catherine again. And so that was pretty much one of the shows I watched. I watched Pokemon and Sailor Moon, and then it's also the time when Card Captors got an English dub and was brought over to America as well, and I was absolutely, I can't remember why it was, but I was determined not to like this show. And Card Captors came on, and I liked this show. I didn't really like the main character. I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit later. Very important note, I didn't like the main character in Card Captors. I'll explain a little bit more on that a little later, how my opinion ended up changing. And then next year, 7th grade, in my homeroom class, there were a lot of guys, and they were drawing Dragon Ball Z on their paper and on the dry erase board. And I just felt like I really wanted to watch this show because it was advertised a lot during Toonami after I would watch Sailor Moon, because it would actually come on after Sailor Moon, but I didn't ever watch it. And I tried to watch Gundam Wing, but I thought, sure, I really want to get to like this show, but I just couldn't. Like, I really couldn't get into it. I might try again now that I'm older. I started watching Dragon Ball Z, and I really liked it as well. And then I was also the show was Digimon, and I was absolutely determined I was not going to like this show, because I thought it was a rip-off of Pokemon, and I was like, absolutely, I'm not going to watch it. If I do, I am not going to like it. And my sister had it all one afternoon, and I watched a few scenes of it, and I was like, nope, not going to like it. Next day I watched another episode, I was like, nope, not going to like it, and then I ended up watching it and liking it. And I had to swallow my pride, and I was like, yep, I like this show just as much as Pokemon. And so those were the main shows I watched, were, again, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, Pokemon, those, and Card Captors. The dubbing of Card Captors were pretty much the 6 animes that I would watch. And just to give a little perspective, it was like 12, 13 when this happened, so it was like 2000, 2001, 2002, was about this era right here. We didn't have Crunchyroll or Netflix or even YouTube at the time. Pretty much the only ways you could watch anime were to watch what was on TV. And my parents would not let me stay up late at night to watch Adult Swim, so all the animes that came on there, like Yu Yu Hakusho and Inuyasha and Paranoia Agent and all that, I couldn't really watch those because the only TV that had cable was in the living room, and they were in bed by the time these shows came on. They were not going to let me stay. I said, I'm not going to let you stay up late to watch a cartoon. So it wasn't until we ended up getting cable and the other bedrooms that I was able to stay up later and watch those shows. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So at this time, I was starting to watch more of Toonami because Dragon Ball got put on. They did a week of Rurouni Kenshin, and they did a week of, they would do like little weeklies, like for a week they would do like a special, I guess, just so people would catch on. Yu Yu Hakusho ended up joining the Toonami block permanently, and I absolutely love that. Every once in a while, I think we had like, I think it was Stars or HBO, you get lucky and an anime would get put on it, and if you just happened to be home at the time and there were nobody else there fighting for the TV, you could watch, like, I think I ended up watching a Ghost in the Shell movie. I do not know what the world I was watching, but it was anime, and that's all I cared about. Disney Channel had played Kiki's Delivery Service, another anime movie. All I cared about was anime, and I still love that movie. To the day I have the DVD, I watch it a lot. It's my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, but this was pretty much the only way you could watch anime at that time. It was either watch what was on TV, Or you could go and rent VHSs or DVDs from Blockbuster. This is when Blockbuster was still open, it was still thriving. You could go do that. It's about time where DVDs were starting to come out as well. I still had a VHS player up until, or you'd go buy the VHSs and the DVDs from Best Buy or Suncoast. Occasionally, I lucked out and found some Rurouni Kenshin DVDs at a couple of Walmarts. I think so. I had some Dragon Ball Z ones as well. But mostly Suncoast or Best Buy was where you would go for your anime videos. And so I decided I would go ahead and show how things used to be back in the day. So nowadays we have the option of having either all of a season, like with this, all of season 1, or in this example, all of season 3 of Dragon Ball Z, and a package. And trust me, I love this a lot better. Paying $20 for season 3, it's my favorite season, by the way. Love the Frieza arc. He was the best villain, in my opinion. The Cell was pretty cool too. But I already did a separate video on why I felt the show went down after Boo appeared. But see, now we can get like all of this entire season on one DVD in one package. But or even in other cases, you can get the entire series. Like I got Death Note season 1 and 2 in one package. I think I paid $30 for this. Got it at Movie Stop about 2 years ago, and this is a great deal as well. But back in the day, that wasn't the option. When I was middle school age, freshman year of high school, the only way you could actually, if you watch it on TV when it came on, you actually did have the option of if you had cable or satellite, a lot of them had things like DVR where you could record so many episodes that when you could watch it later. This is what you would do. They would have a couple of examples here. First, they had VHSs. I remember I actually bought this at Suncoast. I think I'm still holding on to it because, one, I don't know if this movie's been released yet to DVD format, and that's the main reason I'm holding on to it, because I really did like this movie. The special. I actually thought it was a movie. It was actually a special, according to my anime list. So yeah, I don't even have a VCR anymore, but if I ever find like a DVD VCR combo, that would be awesome. But I guess it's more for nostalgic reasons. I still have it. Or in this case, I remember getting this at Suncoast as well, was the entire Sailor Moon movie collection. Original audio. I think they were releasing all the movies, but I don't like the new audio. I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I like the old audio better. Yes, it wasn't as accurate to the original source material, but it's what I grew up with. So this was something great because I got all 3 movies on VHS at once. But for the most part, you would have to buy this a couple episodes. Like here, I got Dot Hex Sign. This actually has the first 5 episodes on it. This one, I actually have. It's kind of sad, but especially even if they ever did re-release all of Cardcaptor Sakura DVD box, I don't think I would buy it just because I already own so many of these. I think I own 10 of these. But this one has episodes 9 through 12. I've got like 10 more, so I've got like more than half of the series already on DVD in this format. This is how I had to do it. You had to go to Best Buy, and it wasn't this one, it was another one. And it only has 4 episodes, and you paid like almost the same amount as you would pay for one of these today to get one of these with 4 episodes. Yes, that sounds ridiculous because, well, it is, but back in the day, that's all you had to do. Like, I know some people are, also got this one, Boogie Pop Phantom, also has like episodes 4, 5, and 6. So this one only has 3 episodes on it. I think it's a 12 episode series, so it's like 4 DVDs total. So, those are pretty much your options at that time. They probably did have streaming sites back then, but unfortunately back when I was in middle high school, we only had dial-up. And if you wanted to download a song, it'd take hours. Like even on iTunes, it was a big difference when we had dial-up till, I think it was in 2008, we finally switched over to high speed. Through Time Warner Cable, we ended up switching over to high speed, and it was quite a difference. It took like 3 minutes to download a song from iTunes compared to 30 minutes slowly. You can only do it like one song at a time. Otherwise, it's going to make it even go slower. So, pretty much streaming at the time was not an option. I did, though. They did have that option was available as well for certain shows. I know on Cartoon Network's website they had Record of Lotus War was streamable on their website for a short amount of time, but it was constantly buffering. Like, I came to hate that word, buffering. They only had certain episodes available as well. So if you were one of the lucky ones who actually had high speed during that time, I suppose streaming was an option for you as well. You could also download, but at the time you didn't really know what it was you were downloading, and all the sites back then were a lot. Well, I guess today a lot of the sites are still sketchy, but back then it was even more. It has to be worth it if you were able to download an entire episode. Like, just downloading clips back then took over an hour. So imagine downloading an entire episode. So I suppose if you had if your internet was fast enough, that could be an option. Or if you're willing to wait for a long time for it to download, that could also be an option as well. But that was not an option for me because I was only allowed maybe on Fridays. I was allowed 2 to 3 hours on the internet, and that was it. Because we only have one computer with internet access, and if you were on the computer, you couldn't use the phone. And we didn't have cell phones at the time because I didn't get my first cell phone until I was a sophomore in college. And so Fridays my mom would be napping when I got home from school. That'd be the only time I could actually use the internet. So pretty much all I had to really choose from what was on TV. And never were the original audio on TV, so you had to watch the English dubs. Sometimes you had really great ones like Funimation's animations using like Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho, 2 great, amazing dubs. But sometimes you had not so great dubs like Card Captors. And I said we'll get back to that. So it wasn't until I actually bought the DVD, and it was actually, this was the DVD that I bought from Best Buy. I got some birthday money, and I wanted to buy some anime. And this show, I don't know what it was about it. I liked it, but I didn't. I really liked the character of Meilin, but I didn't like Sakura, or Sakura as they called her on the show. I thought she was very bratty. I thought she was show-offy. And had you told me that years from now she'd be one of my absolute favorite characters, I would have thought you were crazy. But I ended up buying this DVD, and I was quite surprised because it had, you know, the option of watching it in Japanese. And so since I wanted to experience it as original language, I did, and I was quite surprised to see just how different of a character she was. I guess it's time to talk about the time I took a break from anime. So I stopped watching anime about junior year of high school, marked the time when I was really starting to get into the horror genre, particularly the horror and gothic genre as a whole as far as literature, and I was absolutely dead set on being a novelist for those genres. And so I started watching a lot of horror movies, especially movies with vampires in them. Underworld, I was like really into that for a while. So, and I was pretty much also the first year of college as well. And I joined the anime club when I was my freshman year of college, but it wasn't until second year that I actually really started like really getting into it. Which is why I actually started really loving anime again. I started going, we watched Death Note, and we watched Oran High School Host Club, and we watched a couple others. Those are the 2 main shows we actually watched constantly. We did watch like a few episodes of Black Lagoon. I actually rewatched that again recently, and I didn't think it was that great. We watched an episode of this really horrible anime, Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan. Absolutely horrible. We watched a little bit of Outlaw Star, which I rewatched again later. And all these animes I'm mentioning that I watched in Anime Club, I actually never really watched the full of them at all. We only watched a few episodes because as the semester progressed, workloads got heavier, and me being the dummy that I was, decided I want to put more on my plate than I needed, and I wanted to have a major, double minor. It was originally supposed to be double major, double minor. That didn't happen, but So anime got pushed aside again, and it wasn't until I actually graduated college and I started watching, once again, starting with Dragon Ball Z, watching all of it in entirety, and then going back and watching, and then watching all of Yu Yu Hakusho again, and I absolutely came to just remember how much I loved it, and I loved it even more. It's still to this day my second favorite anime of all time. And then I started rewatching some of the animes that from anime clubs, such as Ouran High School Host Club. Really liked it. And then I watched all of Fullmetal Alchemist. Really liked it. And then I watched Black Butler, and I watched all of Death Note, and I'm watching it twice because I liked it so much. I actually also still prefer the English dub in that one. For the most part, I actually do prefer the English dubs of a lot of these shows, and particularly stuff like Death Note. I actually do prefer the English dub. Japanese original language is great too, but a lot of these ones I actually prefer the English dub, especially if Funimation is voicing it, especially when it came to the terms of Hetalia, which was the next one I watched, and oh boy, that was quite an experience. I love being part of the Hetalia fandom. It was just so full of passion and so full of energy. It did have quite a lot of cringy, embarrassing moments as well, because some people took it a little too far, but that's true for a lot of fandoms, but especially the case in this one. And I really loved the English dub of Hetalia. I actually like both of them. I love how funny it was in both languages, but I just actually prefer the English dub because I like the accents and I found the jokes funnier in the English dub. And then I ended up rewatching Zombieland, which we watched in Anime Club. I actually really liked it. The ending was not that great, and we also, some other ones we watched in Anime Club, such as we watched one episode of Mighty's Disciple Kenichi, and I absolutely just love the anime to this day. It is one of my absolute favorite animes just because it is so hilarious. Yes, it is pretty much over the top ridiculousness. Like, I actually do think that in a way it is kind of poking fun at the shonen genre, because you cannot take that one seriously. All of Card Captors Sakura, the original anime in itself, and I have to say, I am so disappointed with what I saw when I was a kid, because this show in its original language is absolutely fantastic. So I ended up buying all the DVDs, well, not all, but at least 10 of these DVDs, about 4 episodes a piece. I think one of them has 3 on it, but I think it also makes up because one of them had 5 on it as well. And I'm watching the entire series, and it was so different from the experience from what the original one I watched was. The characters were so different, and I absolutely loved the protagonist in the original. I'm watching a lot of old anime, and I'm watching a whole lot of new anime as well. Umineko no Nakokoro ni is another one I really liked. Say that 3 times fast. Victorian Romance Emma, absolutely, like an absolute favorite as well. That one actually took Umineko's spot as my number 5. And then I hit, I think it was 2015. I kind of hit a slump with anime as well. Another slump with anime. I think it was after I watched Is This a Zombie?, which I absolutely hated. And I watched Baka and Test, which I again hated. And I started watching a lot of anime that I just didn't really like. And I started getting tired of the tropes of anime. And I actually ended up switching over to Western animations. That's when I really got into Gravity Falls, which is my all-time favorite American, or I would say in general, Western cartoon is actually my favorite cartoon of all. And I started watching a lot of other Western animations as well, like Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Over the Garden Wall, just so many shows that had taken a back seat when I was watching anime. And to be honest, I really do feel like this break was needed. And I just want to share this as well. Like, if you find yourself really getting burned out with anime, I do recommend taking a break. My break ended up lasting a year and a half, but I came back into anime refreshed and ready to start again. I started doing like just one at a time. Devil's a Part-Timer was one of them, Love Stage, and eventually leading into one of my favorite anime, and call me fandom trash if you want, but that was Yuri on Ice. And ever since watching that, I've been like really just rewatching it. another time, and then a third time. But I'm rewatching Free as well, and I'm watching the second season because the third season will be coming next year. So after getting burnt out, I came back to it, and so that's pretty much the way I've seen it's been a lot of my life. I started watching anime a lot when I was in middle and high school because I just thought it was just so amazing. Then took a break, came back after college, started watching it again, took another break, and now I'm watching it once more. If you love anime, I've been watching it all the way since. That's great. If you need to take breaks in between, that's good as well. If you're just a very casual fan, that's cool as well. Everyone is different. So this has been my journey through anime, how I joined the anime fandom as a whole. Now that we live in the era the way we do, there's a lot more technology that has more access to anime, such as Netflix, which is how I got introduced to certain titles I like, such as Silver Spoon, such as Devil's a Part-Timer, and also through Crunchyroll, which, and even on YouTube. Funimation has their own channel where they play a few episodes in English and the rest of us in Japanese, so you can watch that. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, so there's a lot of places where you can now legally stream anime, and that you can watch it, and you actually do have options now, like buying entire seasons on DVD or buying the entire series as a whole. It's completed on DVD, so it's not nearly as hard today to go and watch anime as it was back then. So yes, I do think that an increase in technology has made it much more available. I also think that the fact that it's actually a lot more accepted now than when I was younger, but especially when I was in middle school, it's like if you liked anime, you were considered as weird. People thought just really horrible things about you, and I don't think the stigma is still as bad as it is. Unfortunately, there are people in the fandom who still give anime as itself a bad name, but for the most part, I think people are more accepting of it now than they were back then because the fact that it is more available and more people have access to it, and there is a lot more of it, not just what's popular. If you like a certain genre of a movie, you can find an anime in that genre. And the fact that animation is also being respected more now as a medium, and is thanks in large parts to the revival of Disney and other companies such as DreamWorks and Illumination. Since animation itself is being considered and much more respected as an art medium, that the anime will be as well. This was pretty much my evolution through the anime fandom, as well as me seeing the evolution of anime itself. From when I was 6 until 29, it's been quite a change, and I am glad that it is more readily available and more accepted as well. And there's like thousands of titles out there, so there's something out there for everyone. This is just something I just felt was interesting to share, and I know it was a lot because it pretty much was my history of being an anime fan. But I do sincerely thank you for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, you can always subscribe to my channel. And I thank you again, and I'll see you next time.